I live my life a quarter mile at a time.
Welcome back to the Quarter Mile Podcast. We're at it again. I'm Drew Davis, one of your hosts, and one of your other hosts is with me, as always. You might call her the Queen of the Quarter Mile. Let's hear it for CJ Walton. How we doing?
Oh my God, thank you. Gracias, mi amor.
Right? That's going to be a tough. I always try to one up my intros for you, and
You do. That's going to
be a tough one to top. In addition to CJ, we have another special guest today. We're reviewing the movie S.W.A.T. 2003, Colin Farrell and gang. But in our gang today, we have another friend, another comedian, the one and only Jason Winkler. How we doing, Jason?
Doing really good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So, Jason, this is your first time on the Quarter Mile Podcast.
First time.
So we're glad you're here. Tell us a little bit about yourself. And then, of course, all of our fans always want to know what's your relationship with either the Fast and Furious and or SWAT, as in the movie, not the law enforcement agency.
I don't have a relationship with the law enforcement. My name is Jason Winkler. I'm a Cincinnati comedian. I've been doing it for about 2 years now, stand up, and I love it. My family lives here, so I get to double dip in both scenes. I'm in Nashville a lot. That's how I met Drew and CJ. And my relationship, I mean, I love the movie SWAT. We're about to talk about it. But I have a long-going relationship for, 20, I don't know how many, over 2 decades with the movie Saga Fast and Furious.
nice.
R.I.P. Brian. Yeah, it's okay. But anyways,
Brian's still alive in the movies.
Yeah, he is.
Sorry. Thank you to CGI. My relationship, though, I mean, not my fondest memory. I'm trying to remember which one it came out. I mean, it was one of the newer ones when he was still alive in real life. I was in college, and I remember going to a midnight premiere with a lot of my friends. And it's really anytime you go see a Fast and Furious movie in the movies, no matter what car you drive, everyone peels out of the parking lot.
Absolutely. You have to.
So I did that in my 98 Jeep Cherokee.
Like a man.
Yeah. And I felt like a man. That's when I grew up. So
yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
Good for you. Every time I leave the movie theater after watching the Fast and Furious. Also, it doesn't help that before watching a new Fast and Furious movie, I will have watched all the ones beforehand.
Yeah.
So I start wondering what's reality. Is it the Fast universe or the Today we are talking about the movie SWAT 2003.
Excited about that.
This is one of my favorite movies. I saw it in theaters. I saw it. It's one of those. A lot of people say it's about Forrest Gump, but I feel it's more about SWAT, like where you can turn it on at any point and just watch the whole thing. And that's how I feel about SWAT. I love this movie. And we'll talk about all the things I really like about it at some point. But before then, let's just get into the movie overview. Let's just talk about. So this movie came out in 2003. The budget was $70 million to make it.
Wow.
How much do you all think it made?
You said the budget was $70 million?
Yep.
I'm going with 65.
65. You think it made 65? You think it lost $5 million?
I do.
Okay. What do you think, Jason?
I feel like this is a trick question because, again, I'm a nut when it comes to looking at Rotten Tomatoes, and I don't agree with Rotten Tomatoes. I think it was like a 6.4 out of 10 on SWAT. Don't agree with it, but part of me is making me lean towards it made even less than 65.
Okay.
Yeah, which by your reaction, I feel like we are way wrong.
So this movie made $207 million.
Yeah.
What? ¿Qué pasó?
It did pretty well. Comparatively speaking, some of the other movies we've covered, they made bank with this one.
I don't know why I thought it lost. I don't know why.
It got a lot of not positive review. Some of it, and we talked about this last week when we talked about Triple X Return of Xander Cage. A lot of people were like, the plot of this movie was just not great. It was like a dumb I was like, it is an action movie.
Right.
Like, it's not meant to be. Although I would argue that the plot was actually pretty good. But maybe some of the people also didn't like it because it was based off of an 80s TV series.
Mm.
And so, like,
Oh, that's right.
all the characters were based off of characters in the TV series,
Yeah.
except for Michelle Rodriguez's character. Hers was different.
Glad she was added to the mix.
So glad. So glad.
Yeah.
So, speaking of the cast, we do want to have a moment of silence for this is the first movie in a while that we don't have Vin Diesel in the mix. But that's okay, because we still have Samuel L. Jackson, and we were able to we were able to make a smooth transition from Triple X to SWAT with Samuel L. Jackson on the. So he, of course, played Hondo. We had Colin Farrell as Street, Michelle Rodriguez, Letty, always in my heart, but Sanchez in this movie, LL Cool J as Deke, Josh Charles as TJ. I didn't really remember anything he was in, but then when I IMDb'd it, he was also in Dead Poet Society, which is a good movie. Jeremy Renner as Gamble, Brian Von Holt, who played Boxer, and he was in Black Hawk Down and one episode of Community. Again, someone I didn't really know existed.
What a random fact.
So whenever I don't recognize a celebrity, I'll try to figure out what else they were in if it's something I've seen, and sometimes it's nothing. Oliver Martinez played Alex Montel, the main villain, although I would argue this movie has three good villains that play different roles. And then Larry Poindexter, who played Fuller, who in my opinion was the biggest villain.
Yeah, he's the worst.
Such a jerk.
In my notes, I just put like every character's name, and sometimes I like when I write jokes, I put nicknames to make me. It literally just says "fuck Fuller" on it.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's fun. That's it. When we do our game at the end, that will be we'll call it the fuck Fuller moments, because that will be we'll play off that.
You know who else was Reggie E Kathy?
Who's he, or who did he play, and who's he?
Hold on. He played Lieutenant Greg Velasquez.
Yes,
that man does not get his flowers.
He's always good in whatever you see him in.
Everything that man does, he does not get his flowers enough. He does not. I was like, wait a minute. Somebody else is in this movie that always kills every time I see him on the scene. It was him. That's what I was looking for.
And him as a character, you don't think about it because he's super support. But like, if you try to look at this movie from the lens of reality, the SWAT team had not gotten away with everything that they did, and without him supporting every step. I mean, like, you got to think that man took his job on the line every time he argued with Ephraim Fuller.
Yeah.
About like, so,
I was like, there is somebody else in this movie. He played the hell out of that character, man.
Yeah.
And he was actually born. His family was it says his dad was ex Vietnam in World War II, so he's born into this.
Yeah.
So I think that's why whenever he plays these type of characters, he's I think he feels at home.
Here's some trivia about SWAT.
Let's go.
We got so the actors all received SWAT tactics, weapons, and live fire training for the film.
I did not know that.
And yeah, it makes sense. They looked like they knew what they were doing. And then Colin Farrell was also giving LAPD driver training in the Ford Crown Victoria. So that's pretty cool.
Now that is probably one of my favorite cars.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Crown Vic. It's
Crown
classic.
Vic. It's like one of the most classic cars.
Huh. I mean, like, I mean, it's cool, but like, it didn't do much for me in the movie. Like, I was like, that's cool. Like,
I think when I saw it, I think I just went right back to my uncle. Like, there it is, because that's such an uncle car that he would come and pick you up in and take you to the fair or something like that. It's just my uncle.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Huh. Do you have a car that takes you back?
Yeah, I mean, I already mentioned it. My first car ever was a 98 Jeep Cherokee Sport.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I had one of those guys.
That's great. Mine was...
It wasn't a sport. It was just a Jeep Cherokee.
Just Jeep Cherokee, yeah.
Do you remember what colors yours
Purple.
was? So was mine. It was technically midnight blue.
And aren't you guys currently driving basically the same car?
Yeah, we are. I have an Audi.
Generic version of her car. It's a Volkswagen.
You guys are, there's some kind of like, you know, like you have like a spirit animal. You guys are somehow connected with your vehicle.
I keep trying to give him like hints about Cincinnati because I have family in Cincinnati.
Okay.
I have family in Cincinnati, so.
The first
we could be kin. We don't know.
The first car I ever drove was like a 2002 Dodge Intrepid. It was a blue. It was
Dodge
it was so nice. It was so I had it for a grand total of 2 weeks when I was 16, and then this woman hit my car when I was driving down the road, just full on turned while she had a red light and destroyed my car. But I grew up in Brentwood, Tennessee, so like, but my family didn't have a lot of like money. Like that's a Richie part, but like like we weren't like upscale like that, so like I had to wait a while to get a new car, which then it was a Toyota Avalon. It went from people being like, "Wow, that's such a cool car," to like my grandpa drives that car.
Yeah.
Well, the Avalon was really nice too.
This woman got a new car a week later.
Yeah.
It was a anyway. I was
On a-
I,
You know,
That's the
my
best
very
way-
first car
what's that?
was a Nissan 240 SX.
Okay, that's cool.
Like, and we just sold that car maybe about 10 years ago.
Really? So it's been
Sitting. It was
she's
sitting there.
24, so it's been sitting there
Right. It
for
was
so.
sitting there. Like the lights went up and then had the reflective. It was
That's awesome.
it was such a cute car. Okay, let's keep going.
More trivia. The SWAT
Sorry, babe.
officer. Oh, you're good. I don't know what I was.
I made a mistake and
Thank
kicked
you
him.
for
thank you.
speaking for me, Drew. I'm fine.
I don't know. Yeah.
That's why I love Drew, guys.
Yeah. Anyway, the SWAT officers who delivered the secure phone call at the beginning of the film in the bank robbery scene were real life LAPD SWAT. They were on scene as technical advisors for the film, but then they got to put on the uniform and be in the movie. So that's
Very cool.
and then there's a scene in which Boxer is watching the episode of the television series SWAT, and you see Stephen Forrest, who plays Hondo in the show, on it. So I caught that when I watched it. I was like, oh, that's from the. It was just weird because that means in this SWAT, in the universe of the movie SWAT,
Yeah.
the TV show of SWAT also exists,
Isn't that wild?
right? So they're being inspired to basically be the TV character. Anyway, it's weird,
Inception. at
right?
the same
Absolutely.
time.
As Alex Montel is being handcuffed by Jim Street, he's seen face down over Alex Trebek's star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Do you guys remember that?
Mhm.
And as it was happening, Trebek himself was voicing the newscaster voice.
I thought I'd recognize that voice a little bit.
Right? I didn't
That's a
recognize
crazy
it,
fact.
but I remember I was watching the camera angles and I was like, it's weird that they're making such a big deal out of this. And
Yeah.
then when I saw that fact, I was like, that makes sense. Okay, here are my two favorite trivia facts. Paul Walker was set to play Jim Street, and he'd even started training for the part, but had to drop due to the filming of Too Fast, Too Furious.
And thank God he did. What a
Right,
I mean-
that would not have worked as well, and then maybe we wouldn't have as amazing of a Too Fast. Also, Mark Wahlberg was also originally approached to be Jim Street as well.
I went to their restaurant down in Alabama.
How was it?
It was okay.
It was okay.
It was okay. I would honestly say In-N-Out might be better.
I love how much you love In-N-Out. We've
talked about this
In-N-Out.
before, haven't we?
In-N-Out has been one of the most recurring guests on our podcast, and I love that. Except I need to go back again because
haven't they built one here? Isn't there?
No, that's
it's
Whataburger.
coming. Oh yeah, there's Whataburger.
No, there's Whataburger, but aren't they building an?
There-
No, Franklin. That's
yeah,
right.
I feel like
Oh,
we.
yeah, so that's like 2 hours away, basically.
We've Franklin.
If you, I mean, with traffic and stuff.
No, he's right. He's right. There's no. I don't see no lies. It's about 2 hours.
I need to go back to In-N-Out because I did go in LA once, and I was so excited because everyone talks about Jesus himself makes the burgers back there. And it was like okay, like it was fine.
I've never had it.
I mean, the burgers was good. I mean, I enjoyed. Now, I will say this: I enjoyed the service. They treat you like family in that restaurant.
Now we're talking about In-N-Out. Or we're talking
No,
about
Wahlburgers.
Wahlburgers. Yeah, so I need to go there.
Yeah, they were.
Where in Alabama is it?
I was in Huntsville.
Okay, I'm scheduled to go to Huntsville in August. So look at that. This would have been funny for the context of our podcast. Vin Diesel was also offered the role of Deke.
What?
And
Right.
he passed on it because he was working on the Chronicles of Riddick.
Nice.
Now,
Flop.
honestly, yeah, we talked about it. It wasn't that great of a movie,
yeah.
but however, if you watch Dark Fury, it adds a little bit of a light to Chronicles of Riddick. I don't think Vin Diesel needed to be in this movie. What worked for all these casts is they were like all equally important, and I feel like Vin Diesel would have. Now, at 2003, he had less of an ego, but I don't think he would have been able to be like he wouldn't have been great at being a minor character.
Yeah.
No.
So, but it would have been interesting if him, Paul Walker, and Letty were all in this movie. I said Letty. Michelle Rodriguez, but they were different, roles. So that's kind of fun. All right. Well, those of you that are regulars with us, you know that we always have an AI plot summary. And this is the first episode in a while where we haven't done it in the voice of Vin Diesel because he didn't take the role as Deke. We did, however, get the AI plot summary in the voice of Samuel L. Jackson. And as funny as it would be to watch our guest turn red in the face as he did his best and probably not racist
Think about
version of Samuel L. Jackson. If you all could have seen CJ's face light up when she had the prospect of being a Samuel L. Jackson.
Same city.
So I'm very excited about our plot summary for SWAT, and it will be coming to us from the voice of Lieutenant Hondo, aka Samuel L. Jackson, but it will be coming to us from the heart and presence of CJ Walton.
Now, I'm going to do this because I feel like Samuel L. Jackson would voice or narrate my life. Like, that's what I want him to do, is like be a narrator of my life, my personal life.
I would love that.
You know what I'm saying? So y'all just get ready. All right, sit yourself down, grab a granola bar or something, and let me break this down real smooth. This is the gospel according to Sergeant Dan Hondo Harrison, aka the only man crazy enough to whip 5 knuckleheads into a bulletproof unit before lunch. Now, LAPD's special teams unit was in shambles, man, and the brass needed someone to fix it. So who do they call? Some pistol pushing bureaucrat? Hell no. They call me. Because when chaos needs a hug and a slap in the face at the same time, I'm your guy. So I stroll in like Chef with a badge, and what do I see? Jim Street stuck in a gun cage, polishing his regret. He got potential, but he's hanging out with the broken dreams and the surplus ammo. I say, get your ass in gear, son. Daddy's building a team. Now, look, I picked my squad like a similar to the Avengers on a budget. A dude with glasses who got tech skills and biceps. A lady who can shoot your uncle and bench press your Prius. Some wild card who look like he jogs with grenades. And Street, my redemption project, who look like he thinks with his jawline. So now cue the villain. Alex Montel. French, fancy, smuggled in a cat in a silk robe. So he gets arrested with the armory in the trunk in a decade on live television, mind you. Then he'll pay $100 million to anyone who busts him out. $100 million. Suddenly, every lowlife with a trigger finger and a son and a cousin named Snake wants in. Street turns into Grand Theft Auto, Los Angeles. I'm out here dodging bullets here in my squad and praying the city's insurance premiums are paid up. Then who pops up like mold in your shower? Gamble, the rogue ex-SWAT officer with a villain arc, slow cliche. I could write it in my sleep. He rolls in with mercs and mullets, trying to hijack motel on a runway like this Fast and Furious Tactical Edition. So what do? We shoot up the plane on the bridge. Let me say again for the folks in the back. We land the damn jet on the bridge now. Welcome to SWAT, baby. Now, we deliver Montel to the feds, save the day, and I walk off in the distance while explosions play jazz in the background. The city sleeps better. I finally get to finish my coffee. And Street, he earns a second chance. So the moral of the story, when Hondo talks, you listen. When Hondo builds a team, you don't question. And when a perp offers $100 million on TV, you shut the damn TV off and get to work. Now say it with me. SWAT ain't just a job. It's a vibe.
That was
I'm
fantastic.
so glad I didn't do that. Oh my God. I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. That was incredible.
I don't know where CJ ends and
Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson begins.
That's because we're both from Chattanooga.
That
I
was
didn't know that. Samuel L. Jackson's from Chattanooga.
He went to school with my aunt. Yep.
Wow.
Yep, they did fashionette and all that together.
man. You need to send her your impression. That was
I
fantastic.
will. I would love to send it to
yeah.
him.
Clip that.
Yeah, I think that was great. I don't think enough people in this world know
That I can do it.
CJ's spot on Samuel L. Jackson impression. That's
I do like to cuss, so
Insane.
that was if you close
and my
your
voice,
eyes.
and my voice is deep. It ain't deep like that, but it's deep.
That was solid. That
Yeah,
was a good
thank
job.
you.
Thank you for doing that.
That was a good
So,
call to have CJ do that. That would have been really bad if I did that.
part of me was like,
Not
let's see him
only that,
try.
but that is like, if I just read a paragraph, maybe we could, but that was a full page.
It was it was a good one.
It was a very
Even
good.
yeah.
I mean, you were in the zone. I don't even think you knew what you were saying. You were
I don't
just
think she
going.
was. I think she somehow summoned
You
Samuel
lost
L.
a shoe
Jackson.
in the process.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that. Like, where did my shoe go?
It was insane.
That was fun.
That was
I
so
stroll in like Chef with a badge, and what do I see? Like, that was my line right there.
I love that. Well, before we get into our review of this movie, I did bring a couple movie reviews. I brought a bad one because I love bad movie reviews.
Okay.
But I have learned that some of these people write way too. They get way too into it, and I don't like to read the long reviews. And then I brought a good one to cleanse their palate after we hear the cesspool of negativity that comes from the first one. So this first review says, SWAT is a miserable film.
Oh, wow.
I remember when I was a kid And I'd play cops and he's doing a flashback in his review. Let's just take a moment and appreciate that. I remember when I was a kid and I'd play cops and robbers with other kids. We'd run around with invisible guns, indiscriminately shooting at each other. SWAT had the same mentality and is aimed for the same age group. It's not a movie. It's a shamefully disguised pro-NRA propaganda. For all the gun glorification and random violence, PG-13 rated violence, remember, as they wanted to expose this drivel to the little kiddos. There is not one subtle moment that tells us guns are dangerous. Here they are, just toys and shooting people for fun.
Oh,
I mean,
damn.
It's like this is the first action movie this man has ever seen. Or woman. I don't know.
Yeah.
But this has the vibe of like a dude.
yeah.
So yeah.
I think he wanted to be like in SWAT, like not the movie, but like in SWAT.
Yeah.
Like,
This wasn't good enough, and he's like, "Oh, they're gonna make a movie about the TV show. I'm gonna watch it." And then he had nothing but negativity.
Yeah, it was such a
Sour grapes, really.
right, yeah. And it's like this isn't the only movie that has
Yeah.
guns in it.
No.
Also, they talked
is.
about putting the safety on when they were in the gun cages. I feel like there was a fair amount of gun safety.
Yeah.
Anyway, now this review was a lot nicer.
I want to hear it.
I seriously had so much fun watching this. Is it cliche? Yes. Is it stupid? No. First of all, the performances are great. Sam Jackson is still a badass. Colin Farrell is very cool. LL Cool J does a decent job. That doesn't seem very nice.
Such a nice person in real life.
Also, Jeremy Renner, he seems like a nice person.
He is such a nice person in real life.
He just has that, like, when he was, like, being a dad or a husband vibe. I was
Such
like,
a nice
yeah,
person.
Meet him.
He came down years ago and Kenny introduced me to him and I was like freaking out. He was like, "Don't freak out. I'm freaking out because of you." I was like, "What? Oh, shut up. You die."
Yeah.
I love that. CJ has met all the people.
I wish, but
Checks
yeah.
out.
There's always I feel like every other episode we
We
have
do,
a random story of CJ like, oh, I know them.
Well, I've met them, or I've met. But Jeremy Renner, I've not met, and I want to meet.
Yeah, according to this person, Jeremy Renner was awesome. The review continues.
He's awesome.
Oh, always awesome. Very good. And when we talk, I have thoughts about because I this is one of my favorite films he's in. The film also worked because it didn't take itself too seriously.
Yeah.
It wanted the audience to have a fun time. The action scenes are really fun, and the effects are good. The climax is really entertaining. It's not the best action film ever. It's not the best cop movie ever. It's not the best movie ever. Even so, I got what I paid for. A fun popcorn flick. I was never bored. I never checked my watch. I was having too much fun watching this to be worried about anything else. Great entertainer. It was what we in the business of this podcast like to call a perfect quarter mile moment. So, anyway,
Much better than the first review.
I know, right? It's like I like to start off with a negative where we're just like, well, that person hates everything.
Only up from here.
And then go. And just a friendly reminder, everyone here, we ask for your reviews and your opinions and your feedback every Tuesday about whatever movie we're about to cover next. Every 2 weeks we record, so we usually every week we have some movie we want your thoughts on all of our social medias, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, really Facebook and Instagram are the ones where we'll ask for the movie opinions. So if you want to let us know what you think, go for it. And then you can always drop us fan mail here in the actual episode where you could say like, hey, this is what I think about this movie. And we'd love to hear it. And sometimes, like last week, we'll share it on a later episode. So what are some of our thoughts about this movie? We read other people's opinions. What do you guys think? What are some
What our
things that
esteemed
jumped out?
guests
So
first?
what stood out to you? What are your opinions?
When I was asked to do this, I was really excited because I remember watching this when I was, like I said, 12 years old was when this movie came out. And it was like one of the first big action films that I saw. And it was very entertaining, very cool. I was entertained from the moment it started because it literally just starts with a bank robbery and then ends with a private jet landing on a bridge. And then, you're just like, so much to set, like, constantly. And then, like, I like a little love interest too. Plus, we just got to talk about Michelle Rodriguez. I'm never going to not talk about Michelle Rodriguez.
First scene you see just her abs.
Yeah. I mean, good stuff. But yeah, entertained throughout the entire movie. I was looking up some fun facts and then had some support because I was like, when y'all asked me, I was like talking to my friend Billy in Cincinnati, another comedian, Billy DeVore, shout out. But he was like, "Do you know that and I Googled this. I don't know if it's actually true, but I believe anything he says. So he said that SWAT was like the first to really take on the top down filming angle, which John Wick was like really popular for. Yeah. So, but then I got into like a Reddit rabbit hole, and it was like, oh, it was Fight Club that did it. Oh, it was Citizen Kane, which I
would
never
go with
seen.
Citizen Kane
Yeah.
more than anything. Yeah, if we're
Yeah.
going, like, you're talking about cinematography, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, nah, no, it might be Citizen Kane
Yeah.
because the way that's probably one of my favorite movies, and that's because my mother made me watch it.
Yeah.
And the way that
Good job, CJ's mom.
dude, she's
Yeah.
amazing. And the way
Let's get her on the podcast.
Yeah.
oh no, y'all want her? She be cussing up a storm. That's where I get it from. Shouts out to you, cussing lady. But the way that the all the scenes are shot,
Mhm.
you can I would say Citizen Kane started it.
Yeah.
I would definitely say that. No, I mean the way they're going in and out and then around
Right.
and then the look
The look down was
the
the
look
main
down
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
for that time of filming, Citizen Kane was it.
Huh. You know,
When did Citizen Kane come out?
I'll look it up. Y'all keep talking while I look it up.
that was something. You're right. It was so cool, but not something
Yeah.
I just didn't pick up on. But you're right. Now that we're talking about it, was
And you mentioned it earlier, but just talking about like again.
1941.
Oh yeah.
Goodness, so that's probably
Wow.
the first one.
That was definitely the first one.
Yeah, I
SWAT
was
was the first one with like really nice cameras
Yeah.
to do it.
Yeah, but I imagine there was, in addition to that, there's probably
Yeah.
something else they did differently. And so maybe that's what Billy was
Mhm.
talking about. where-
Another big thing, or like as you think about it, you mentioned that it was like based off of a TV show. So, and now there's a SWAT TV show with some of the same characters. Like
Yeah, I'm gonna get. I've watched it a little bit. It's pretty
Yeah.
good, so I'm gonna watch
Well,
more of it too.
when I was like watching this movie, I type in SWAT and that's what popped up.
Mhm.
But it's like crazy that a show from the 80s. So it's like TV show to movie series, which the second movie
Is there a second SWAT?
it's not the same
It's
character.
not
It's
the
like
same
a
characters.
spin-off.
It's like this. Yeah,
It's like
Huh.
SWAT
with
I don't even know.
what's his name is in it?
Is it the guy from Suits? I
Yes.
think I accidentally almost watched it. Yeah.
Yes. It's the guy. It's
Mike?
Mike.
Not Mike. It's the other one, Harvey.
It's Harvey.
Ooh, I
Harvey
might
Specter.
watch it.
It's
Then.
Harvey Specter.
I like Harvey.
Yeah,
That
that's a
character
good
is
show. That's a
Gabriel something. But yeah, it's crazy that how
No,
long
he
that's been going
directed
on.
this and
So
was in it as well.
Yeah. So this movie, for me, I'm not saying this is like my best perfect favorite movie, although I would put it on a top 10 list, but I feel like it covered all the things I want from a
Yeah.
movie. Starting with, I know you mentioned the love a little bit, but what I loved about this movie, not much of a love story.
yeah,
And all the action movies we've covered so far this season, we've talked about Vin Diesel trying to have a love, with
Yeah.
whatever, and it never works.
Everybody.
And this was such a nice little palate cleanser of there was no love story. I mean, maybe like
started with a breakup.
it started with his woman leaving him,
Yeah.
and then he, as a healthy male should,
Yeah.
moved on. Like he
Shout out
like
Boxer's little sister.
yeah, and even when the boxer was like, you should give her a call, he gave like ambiguous like, oh, maybe I will, but it wasn't like, oh, I should get her back. It was like,
Yeah.
I've moved on to a healthy level, and also he probably was like, let's think about getting this prisoner to the.
Yeah.
I loved
And also Michelle Rodriguez.
yeah.
So,
Also, yeah, like he was
clearly.
starting things off with they. I think in SWAT
dive
too,
into
they
that.
could get more into that.
It's one of my notes.
I loved that. I love the trope where like best friends become arch enemies,
Mhm.
right? So that whole opening scenes, I mean, it gave us exactly what we needed to
Yeah.
keep going. I loved that the real plot of the movie was the dynamic between the team that was growing. You got to see them through training, you got to see them through their mission, you got to see a lot of them where they started. I love the betray. Like the first time you see it, you don't see the TJ betraying thing, but it happens and it gets a little dark. He kills himself. I mean, like it's a good death that lasts. He doesn't come back at the end. It's a simple plot in that they're not saving the world. They're not stopping an alien invasion. They're trying to get a guy to a prison.
Yeah,
That's it.
And and they do it. They make it work.
Loose. That was crazy.
I also
The writing in it.
yeah. It had you had three villains. You had Gamble, who had the human, the rival aspect of it. You had the overall villain, who's the drug guy. Which so do we ever know why he was wanted? Was it? I assume it was cartel.
No, he was.
I didn't get it.
So
we just heard they was
they-
wanted in 11 countries, but did they ever
yeah,
say
so he was like a gun runner. And they said like his list of charges, what he was wanted for.
Oh, when did they say? At the beginning?
It was after they caught him, and then after they like attempted to break him out, like
Yeah.
the random guys that he knew. I don't know
Yeah,
how
I
those
missed
guys.
all
Also,
that.
you know,
I'm not
you
gonna
said he
lie.
was a gun runner. Can we please go back to the review where the guy was like, "This is so pro gun and never mentioning guns are dangerous." Literally,
Yeah.
the main villain is running illegal guns.
Yeah, I mean, like
He said, what?
so
the
he
first
comes
review
in
was
this
like-
mysterious. You already
Yeah.
know he's a villain.
Yeah.
Obviously, I knew he was a villain when he came in because he came in so mysterious. And then the dude, he has a family like knife that crazy. I don't know if there was. I think it was also like stationed in 2003 because I remember seeing like a date in the movie.
Oh yeah,
Like 9/11 has already happened 2 years ago, and homie somehow is able to get on a plane with a pocket knife.
yeah.
And they're like, just make sure you mail it home.
Also, like,
And then
no,
they
take
gave
the
it
knife.
back to him.
Right, that don't.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
just take the
confused.
knife. But like the dude literally flies back. He's like, I want to visit my uncle, and then his dad ran this whole operation, family business worth billions of
Yeah,
dollars.
and he just killed his
Um,
dad.
And he killed his dad.
Yep.
And his uncle said, well, no, your dad runs things. He goes, well, actually, I run it now. And he goes, well, your dad didn't tell me. He goes, my dad can't speak anymore. I've retired him. And then he stabs him with that knife.
That's
on
where
the
I missed.
table.
I must have missed
Also,
that.
like,
I did not see that.
That
Yeah.
restaurant must be the biggest front for the mob because
Oh,
like, a
absolutely.
man is just stabbed and bleeding on the
People
table.
were just like, ah,
And
yeah.
they're
People
like,
like,
oh, Cafe Forte,
Tuesday.
whatever, like just chilling.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
2:30. It's normal.
Yeah.
And then obviously the best villain of this movie was Sergeant Fuller. He was like literally everything he did was the worst ever.
Yeah.
He never had one moment you're like, oh, good call.
Yeah.
No.
Arguably when he like was like, okay, fine, you pick your people. But then he was like, but as soon as you screw up, I'm gonna fire you.
Yeah.
But
I
like,
enjoyed him the most
you enjoyed him as in like because he was captivating watch or like where you like
because he was stupid.
yeah.
He was this. If I'm going to be a villain, I'm not going to take any lessons from him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like that, he is the one
The
who
wrong thing every
he is
time.
the wrong thing. He's like what's his name that always gets caught on Powerpuff Girls?
Mojo Jojo.
Yeah, he's Mojo Jojo.
Yeah, we just talked about him in Dark Fury.
Yeah.
This is like the second time this month we've randomly brought up Mojo
He
Jojo. I
is a
love it.
Mojo.
Yeah,
He is technically Mojo Jojo.
Well, what's so captivating to watch about this man is he thinks he's a good cop. And what's weird is like, how did this man become a sergeant? Like,
They had a relationship. Him and
Hondo.
Yeah.
had, I almost said Honcho. Hondo had a relationship in
Yeah.
the past, and I
they
don't know.
must have worked
I
together.
wish they. Well, yeah, he
Yeah.
goes because he was. I remember specifically. He was like, blaming all your failures
All
on
your
me.
failures,
You
yeah.
remember that?
Yeah.
Like,
He's like, just like old
days,
times,
old
yeah.
times. The only fun fact I want to say about Fuller, other than the fact that we all hate him, was we talked about. You did mention earlier that it had a $70 million budget.
Yeah.
There's a scene where they close in on his desk. Hondo had just finished his like getting the team,
Yeah.
and they back out, and Fuller's nameplate on his is literally a piece of paper with Fuller on it.
What?
I like it's bent like a piece of paper.
Yeah, just
Like
they
you have
that
$7
was
million budget, and we're like, we can't do
do a
20 on
nameplate,
the
no.
nameplate, dude. We got to get a piece of paper and a marker.
that's funny.
Oh, I got to go back and see that.
It was crazy.
hysterical.
Yeah,
I got to go back and
I
see
swear I noticed it. I'm
Yeah.
trying to remember. Yeah,
I
that's my
love
only note on Fuller, other than I hate him, is his nameplate is literally a piece of paper.
I love the dynamic. I mean, Frank Gamble, he's the most interesting character. Jeremy Renner. Also, this brings me to. I'm gonna ask you guys a question, and then I'll also answer it. You get to spend a day with any of the characters from SWAT, villain, good guy, whatever. Not the actors, but like who's the person you're gonna go hang out with one night, or who's the person you're gonna go out to lunch with? Who's
Michelle.
Michelle?
Yeah, Michelle Rodriguez. I mean,
What? She seems pretty tough though. Like I don't know.
oh
if,
yeah, I'm terrified of her.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's why I
I'm
would hang out
attracted
with
to
her.
that. Yeah,
What would you guys do? Would you go like kickboxing, or I go?
Wherever she want to go.
What-
Yeah.
She'd
She
be like,
could-
"It's my
she
day off. I
chooses
want to
it.
go hang out with my kid."
Yeah,
yeah. Well, I'll hang out with her kid.
That's
I'll play
fine. Yeah.
water guns for
Yeah.
sure.
What we doing with the baby?
I could be a stepdad.
I'm stepmama. What we doing?
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. So I decided I wasn't as cool as Colin Farrell's character is. I'd like
Yeah.
kind of be a boring hang. He'd be like, "Let's go run with my dog." I'd be like,
Yeah.
"Pass."
Yeah, no,
dude.
Michelle would be.
Off leash too. That's wild.
Right? Yeah.
In
Very obedient
California?
dog. Yeah.
I actually would want to hang with Sam just because I know he'd probably go to a basketball game.
Yeah, he'd be a cool hang. I think he'd be a cool hang.
Maybe go get something really good to eat.
Not gonna lie, the drug cartel gun runner guy probably would take you to a real fancy. I mean, if he doesn't kill you, he'd take you to.
You would probably die, but like that's kind of his thing.
But you know what?
Like living in the fast lane.
My gut tells me like Gamble would be a cool hang.
He would be.
Bro's like done with SWAT. Like his whole attitude was like, I could get that 100 million. I got the skills to. I know how do they think. I could get.
I would hang with Gamble.
Like, and then like when his plan is succeeding before it fails, at one point he turns to one of his buddies and he's like, "See you at Margaritaville." Dude already had a party plan.
I would do that.
I think he'd be a cool. I mean, again, probably you see very on in the early in the movie, terrible cop, terrible partner. So like, I wouldn't like go like work with him.
Yeah,
but like, I feel like he'd be a fun hang.
I want to.
No. This is something funny, but go ahead.
This is more of like playing devil's advocate because I'm curious. Because obviously he's fired because you don't already know if you haven't watched the movie. The very first scene is there's a bank robbery and it's intense. I mean, they're like murdering people right off the bat with heavy machinery. And at the end of it, they've gone in and clearly Jeremy Renner's character's disobeyed the call to hold, and because he wants to save the day. That's his whole thing being here. But of course, Colin Farrell's character follows him along. They're partners. That's what they do. So he takes the shot and he shoots. We don't know how the hostage ended up. It seemed like it was a flesh wound.
Yeah, it didn't seem like it was serious, but it was serious enough where she was like, "I'm going to sue you all."
Yeah, she sues the city for millions, right?
Yeah.
Money is always important. But I want to play devil's advocate. Did he make the right call? Like,
that's a good question.
He stopped
the problem. And who's to say if they waited if it didn't happen?
Yeah.
I think, because I was wondering that when I was watching it. But then what I finally decided, what the plot was telling us was this was a reoccurring thing for him, where he would just do whatever he wants, not follow orders.
Yeah.
And the rest of the team believe that if they had waited just a little bit longer, they could handle it without this woman getting shot. And I think maybe part of the problem that Colin Farrell's character had with it was like he didn't care about the fact that he shot a woman.
No,
like he was just like, look, it happens. Like, whereas there probably was an option where you could do it without shooting a person. Also, can we just talk about police brutality in this movie?
Oh my God.
2003, at one point when they bring out the naked guy, one of them just like slaps his butt. At another point, he just pistol whips the terrorist.
Alien robots are here.
Well, speaking of at the time of this filming, are you ready for this?
So ready.
LAPD SWAT never had a female member in its history.
Huh.
You notice that a lot too, because as soon as they're like a woman.
Well,
that's right. That's what he said. He's like Gamble or Streets on my shit list, and she's a woman. I noticed that too. Yeah.
And this is addressed when Fuller vetoed Sanchez's entry. Sanchez is a woman, despite the fact that she has passed all the exams.
Wow. I love that they added that.
At the start of the movie, LAPD SWAT had no female members, and that Sanchez is the first girl to get in. So that's why they made that.
Yeah.
But at the time, they had no female.
And she's like, you would put, I feel like you'd put her skill wise under Colin Farrell. Although in the shooting wise, there was that point I think when LL Cool J got better scores on the card thing. Which did anyone understand how that worked? Like they were playing poker with shooting cards.
I don't
they were just sniping, playing cards. Yeah, I don't.
Who put the giant cards?
Yeah, that's whoever has that job sucks. That was
they had one job to do, and that still was stupid.
Yeah, that was
like. But yeah, I don't understand cards, so I don't understand the game. But yeah, no, I thought that was really interesting. That was my interesting fact, my interesting thing that I looked up.
Yeah. What were your general thoughts about the movie, CJ? If you anything that
I honestly liked it. I'm not even gonna lie. I liked it from start to finish. There really weren't any besides that with the paper thing. There weren't really anything. It was just a regular good movie to me. Just a good, I'm finna go get the bad guy. I'm finna shoot. I'm finna kill.
Yeah, it was, you got what you paid for.
I really did. Like I honestly was sitting down, watching a sandwich, enjoying the movie.
Yeah. This one wasn't another tub movie.
The only reason because I had already got in the tub. That was the only reason.
So,
I would have watched this first, but I watched the movie.
I only watch movies in tubs. I got back into the tub to turn on SWAT.
I did.
Sounds like a great time.
And I would have, but I didn't want to be wrinkly. I didn't want my fingers to be wrinkly.
That's fair.
That's
So,
it.
no, I honestly
57-minute
enjoyed it
runtime,
though.
Yeah.
so.
I honestly enjoyed it, especially Hondo, because I'm gonna enjoy Samuel in anything he does.
He is. This has been a reminder to me how much I like Samuel L. Jackson. Did this
Snakes
movie,
on a
the
plane.
Triple X series, did we have him in anything before that? No, I think, yeah.
Mm-mm.
But it has been like 4 movies that we've been on.
That we've been with
Samuel, yeah.
Mr. Jackson.
Yeah.
Snakes on a Plane needs to be a future movie.
Oh my God.
I would like. It's been so long since I've seen that. It would be like watching it for the
What a
first time. But I
crazy
remember
terrorist
what
attack.
what
Let's
a
put all these
I
exotics.
love.
I
That
think
was
we
such a
might
fun-
need to pull one movie out and put that in because
You think
that's an
so?
action movie.
I think so too. That'd be fun. All right. Well, let's get into our Too Fast, Too Furious movie ratings. Do you know how this works, Jason?
He does. Do you know?
Briefly,
Okay.
I read the email and now on the spot.
Look
Please
at.
explain it.
Okay. I need to just stop. Here's the thing, gang. I email every guest
And I
all
read
the
it.
details,
I read
and
it.
and then they're like, "How does this work?" And I'm like,
I
"Well,
read it.
why did I type?" Anyway, I don't even type anymore though. I copy and paste it, so it's no harm, no
I'm
done.
so sorry.
No, don't.
So it's all good. So Too Fast, Too Furious movie rating, and we're each going to give it a movie rating. Too Fast means you loved it; it was
Right.
great.
I read that.
Your life is better because of it. Fast is like you liked it.
Mhm.
Furious can be either you didn't like it that much, or it was like okay. And then Too Furious is like I really didn't like it. My life is less than because of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's it. And I'll start because mine's obvious for at least for me on the Too Furious. Absolutely loved it. One of my top 10 movies. I wouldn't put it top 5, but I would top 10.
Really?
Yeah. And whenever I play that game, I don't use the same series. Otherwise, it would just be like so many of them would be Fast and Furious, and then the rest would be the Mighty Ducks.
I am going with Furious.
You going Furious?
I like this movie. I might watch it again. I don't think my life is better, but I definitely will be like, hey, babe, why don't we sit down and check this out?
So that's a Furious and not a Fast? That sounds like
Oh, fast. Sorry.
I was like, everything you said sounded like you
No,
liked it
I
a
meant
little.
fast, not too fast. Yeah,
To
fast.
be fair, you said Too Furious, but you said Pro, right? You love
Oh,
Too Furious.
did I say that?
did.
And I did that
Then I got
last week.
confused. I
Oh
almost
my
said it.
gosh.
Wow.
Yo, I think
Drew
like
didn't read the email that he wrote.
So you're too fast.
I did I say
You did.
roll
We
that
can
tape back?
roll it back. I'm not crazy.
Okay, I apologize. I don't know what Freudian slip I've had for the past for us it's same day, but the past 2 weeks where I've been saying Too Furious instead of Too Fast. Maybe I'm just a really angry person on the inside right now. It's bleeding
No,
out.
but so yeah, no, so too fast.
So you're a Fast, I'm a Too Fast. Glad we've learned how to speak
And
correctly.
thank you to our guests for correcting us.
Yes.
I am sorry that I corrected the.
No, I need
We needed it.
we needed it because
this
I
will
love to
probably
be
be my
corrected.
last time on this
Yeah,
podcast.
well, nice
Absolutely
knowing you.
not.
Yeah, last time in our lives as well. We're blocking
I love
you
to get
and
correct me when I'm wrong, baby. I like that. That's sexy. That's sexy.
oh, there we go.
All right.
Talk
Noted.
dirty to some women, but correct CJ.
Yeah.
Mansplaining is her aphrodisiac.
Taking notes. Okay. It'd be too fast for me. I mean, I love that movie so much. I mean, reasons why. Obviously, Tyrese Gibson. We love Tyrese Gibson.
He's not in the movie.
Oh shoot, is he not?
That's LL.
Are you thinking of either Samuel L. Jackson or LL Cool J or?
I was literally rating Too Fast, Too Furious. Holy crap!
I love
I didn't read the email all the way. Cool, we all messed up. It was fast. It was fast for me. It did not change my.
We're talking about SWAT, or now
We're
we're
talking about SWAT. I thought we were. I was like, cool. We're bringing in Fast and Furious. And the
I
whole thing.
love that.
Listen, I was trying to really be a part of. This is. I should leave. I shouldn't be on.
No, please. That was
we've made
perfect.
That was great.
Now they're all like, Jason, all black people don't look the same.
Well,
Which is
love
why
part of
we
it,
do this.
part of me is that.
Hey, now he was talking about a whole nother movie, y'all. Don't do
Yeah.
it.
Now I want to know what you think about Too Fast, Too Furious, but I.
Yeah, I thought that was like cool. It's random because I remember that I was like, why are we bringing this up? But no, I literally you're just So I would say Fast. It was a great movie. I enjoyed it. I have no negative things to say about it other than I hate Fuller. But it did not change my life.
That's fair.
It was. I wouldn't say it's in my top 10.
Okay. No worries. That's good. So speaking of Fuller, that brings us to our game that we play every week. Drew. So today it's Drew's best bits. Sometimes it's CJ's best bits. So we pick 3 scenes. I'm picking 3 scenes. I know.
Okay.
this was a name that I gave it for alliteration in episode 1, season 1, and we are 3 seasons in, and I've not dropped the best bits, even though it's a little gross.
Why is it gross? Best bits.
But
Best bits.
It's we're comedians.
I like
That's
it. Yeah,
what we're talking about. We're not talking about body parts, Drew.
no, I'm telling you my 3 best bits, and you have to tell me which one's the best. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Like your eyes.
oh, thank you.
Yeah.
That was 2 of them. Anyway, so the how did you? What did you say? Fuck Fuller is whatever.
Yeah, and yeah, I did say that. That's
Okay.
what I typed in my notes.
That's gonna be so that so the name of this branch of bits that we're doing today is top 3 fuck Fuller moments.
Oh,
Right?
okay.
So-
I
'cause-
did mine on. Oh, I like.
Okay, because one of the things I did enjoy about this movie was how much I hated him.
Yeah.
He did such a good job at being an unlikable character.
right off the bat.
So the object is you're trying to pick what I think was the worst of his moments.
Okay.
Jason, if you pick correctly, CJ gets a point.
Okay.
If you pick incorrectly, I get a point. Same with
Okay.
her. If she guesses correctly, she gets a point. If you get
Okay.
and so we're for the whole season we're in a bitter rivalry competition fight to the death.
What's the score right now?
The
Huh?
score currently is 6 me 7 CJ.
Oh
So
snap!
so we're
So I'm Team CJ. Obviously, if I get it right, she gets
yes
a point. Okay.
yeah you're the guest is always on the team of whoever's not doing like sharing the so.
Sure.
Okay, so these are my top 3 fuck Fuller moments.
I want to hear it.
The first, and I'm going to do order that I saw them in the movie. So the first was pretty early on when he's talking to Street and he's like, sometimes doing the right thing isn't doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Fuck that. You know?
Yeah.
Scene 2 was when he's like, well, Street's on my shit list. And, Letty Sanchez
Chris
is a woman.
Sanchez.
Yeah. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And then scene 3, is not this one doesn't have as much of a one-liner approach, but it was when they were making the plan to escort the guy and like they're all talking about dealing with this fugitive and things that lives are at stake and he's like, hey, maybe we could get some cameras and some PR
Yep.
people there.
I remember that.
Fuck that
Yeah.
guy. You know? So those are the 3 scenes. Which ones do you think which one do you think is my worst FM moment?
I would say the woman and shit list one.
Is that the last one?
That was the second
That was
one.
the second one. So that's number 2 is what you're saying.
No, I'm saying like that might be. Or you're saying
No, so you have to pick one of those 3 of them. Which one was the worst one?
yeah, that one.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
I'm going with him.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm so happy.
Yes.
I'm so happy to say it's the sometimes doing the right thing isn't the right thing.
Yeah.
I hate that quote so much, and I feel like, and this sound not to get on a high horse bitterness here. I feel like in 15 years of ministry, I met so many pastors that had that kind of logic,
Yeah.
and I always thought about this man and
Yeah.
this scene every time I heard.
Really?
Oh my gosh, so many people are like, well, technically that's right, but they give a lot of money to the church, so we're going to have to do it this way. Or technically that's right, but I don't want to do that, so we're going to have to do it this way. This is like a pet peeve of we can make it more relatable. Comedy clubs. Yeah, technically it's a bucket spot and everyone has a chance, but we're just going to give it to the people that we want.
Yeah.
Because sometimes doing the
Story
right
of my
thing
life.
isn't doing the right thing.
Yeah.
F that. And that to me also encapsulated his character so perfectly.
I agree.
So
So you got the point.
I did. I got 2 points on that one. So
Oh.
now we're at
We are at
8-7.
8-7.
Drew is in the
Crazy
lead. I love it.
that he
How could
watch
we-
it. The paper actually says what we said was right. And
Right.
it's like actually it was the first one.
I'll be back. Don't worry.
The only
be
so
crazy.
there was one time I think in season 2 where like I changed my mind based off of what people said,
Yeah,
and I felt like that was kind of cheating. But I was like,
that's
you know,
not-
you're
that's not
right.
kinda,
That
that's
was.
definitely cheating. For sure.
And ever since then, I've never done it ever again. Whatever I say at
I'm
the
glad you
beginning.
got in the lead now, man. Good.
Yeah, thank
He's
you.
in the lead.
Big moment for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been waiting to be in the lead. So
It's been-
okay, that's cool.
Yeah, I lost last season, and it's literally been the biggest loss in my life. I've never felt more. Anyway,
Thought I was gonna get you last time.
yeah. Well, we still have a million movies in this season, so
I have another moment that I don't like Fuller in, and it's
Which
in
one was
the
that?
end, where obviously like, and it's my favorite moment of Hondo when he's like, because he's like, we need backup. We just got out of the sewers, and he's like, no, they're going to the airport.
Yeah.
Going to the airport, and he goes, for all I know, all of you are in on it. And
I
I just like that made me so, because that's just him making a bad decision
Right.
yet again.
Every
And he
decision
goes-
he made was bad.
every decision.
No, I still can't do it. Part of me wanted to quote.
I don't
Samuel
think
L.
you're
Jackson.
feeling me.
Yeah, he's like, can't even do it.
Do it,
man.
do it.
Okay.
Good try.
Did you hear my neck crack? That crack
that was
was
a good
real
crack.
hard. Wow. I've never audibly heard it. Oh, maybe we'll pick it up on audio. Well, someone explain to me why there's a plane landing on a 6th Street bridge. That was bad. That was bad. Edit that whole thing out. I'm just kidding.
That was great. That was perfect.
It wasn't.
You channeled your inner
It
Samuel
was
L.
bad.
Listen, gang, channel your inner Samuel
Yeah.
L.
Yes.
And drop a comment or
Yes.
let us know. Send us a voice recording of your
Yeah.
best Samuel L. Jackson
Just
impersonation.
don't you say the N-word.
Don't do that. That would be your worst
Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson impression.
You can
But,
say MF, you can say go to hell, you can say all of that.
yeah, but we're big fans of this movie, this podcast. Thank you guys for
Very
supporting
fun.
us.
Cute.
And Jason,
Yeah,
thanks
thank
for
you.
being on it.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us where people can find you and what's.
Well, fun fact. I have a sticker. I have merch now. Your boy has merch.
Ooh, look at that.
We're gonna
Stickers,
pull it
gonna-
out, pull it
yeah,
out,
yeah,
bring it out,
yeah.
bring it out.
Hold on, let me get my wallet, which is just a rubber band around credit cards.
Look at him bragging about credit cards and rubber bands.
I have my Instagram and TikTok. My name's Jason Winkler, so you can just, if you have on Facebook, I have a joke about how I got written up by working at a pizza place for eating pepperonis off the make table.
Yeah.
But the words that were used were Jason was grazing the make table. And then recently found out that I weigh roughly the same as a pony, so that's me on a pony's body grazing pizza. And it just says stay grazing. But yeah, my Instagram and TikTok is at Jason Winkler Comedy. At Jason Winkler Comedy.
Yep.
Would love a follow. I'll follow you back. And yeah.
Yeah, and we'll have it linked down on our
No,
episode
those are y'all.
notes.
Yeah, one for each of you,
so
for
much.
sure.
I love it.
Thank you.
We will have Jason stuff linked on our episode notes. And I always want to echo when go follow the comedians.
Please.
That
Please.
makes such a difference for us.
I need that.
Back
That's
in
all I
the
have.
day, bookers were asking the question, hey, is this person funny? Would they entertain my crowd? Now they ask, how many followers does this person have? Would they bring a crowd? And so it sounds silly, but every +1 follower we get makes a difference. So that's why we always that's why we're always asking you to follow us. It's, I know it's annoying, but it helps us out a lot. And then with our comedians, we're so happy that they come on and talk about movies with us. We don't always. Well, I said we don't always get to pay them. We never pay them.
I drove 4
can't.
hours to be here today.
yeah. So, and then speaking of just people that are awesome, thank you D&D Fitness for sponsoring us.
Oh.
And CJ's got our D&D shirt, repping it, moving day.
Okay.
Check us out in the Gym Creep Reels. You can find that on my website, the Quarter
Yes,
Mile Entertainment. You can find that on all of our. Anyway, you just go to the things and you'll find it.
No, man, shout out to our guests for coming and
Thank you so
everything.
much for having me. This was a blast.
Yeah, we loved having you. We hope to have you again.
Please.
Everyone, go out and watch a great movie. Go do something cool. Go graze on some pizza. Go get you some.
I'm so hungry right
pepperonis.
now.
Follow Jason on all social media and whatever you do this week, live your life 1/4 mile at a time and have a great rest of the week.
Bye, guys.
Bye, y'all.